Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm coming at you not from the studio, but from this hotel room here in Barcelona, Spain, where I'm currently attending MWC, which is the Mobile World Congress. It's kind of a mini CES, if you will, but focused very much on mobile. So the latest mobile phones, the latest tablets, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, keep an eye on the channel. I'll probably be covering the event as well. But for now, what we're doing is a what's in my tech bag video. Every time I go to one of these events, I like to kind of nerd out with you guys and see what tech I brought with me. I love watching these videos myself, and I like making them just as much. So what tech I'll bring with me really depends on the trip, like how long is the trip gonna be, what kind of airplane am I gonna be flying. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's gonna make sense in a minute. Anyway, every tech carry obviously starts with a bag. And this time I have a bit of an unusual one, if you will. This is actually a tote, which is a new bag from Grams 28. I usually don't really use totes. I don't know, I've always considered totes to be more like a woman's bag, but this thing has actually really changed my mind on that because I really like the look of it. It's a suede and leather combination, and what makes this really useful on flights especially is that you can just reach into it and grab whatever you need. You don't need to mess around with zippers and stuff. It's also very useful if you're going through security. You just pull out your liquids and your computer and whatnot, put it on the tray, and you're done. It's so easy, super accessible, and it still looks really stylish in my opinion. Also, this thing has a luggage pass-through, so it's actually made for trips like this. You just plop it onto your suitcase, you make your way through the airport. Really cool bag. I can highly recommend it. It doesn't have a zipper, like I said, so it doesn't close all the way. It does have this latch on top, and if you want a little extra security, you can always put the straps over your suitcase handle and it'll be super secure. All right, so let's have a look at what's inside. So the main driver, let's say, of this work trip will be my MacBook Air, not the MacBook Pro. And if you're a regular to the channel, you will probably already know that I've switched to the MacBook Air for all of my travels, basically. I don't actually own a MacBook Pro anymore. I sold it a little while ago. The reason for that is that in my office, I'll be using the Mac Studio M3 Ultra, which is an absolute beast, of course. And so on trips, I can totally get by with the MacBook Air. I'm not going to do any heavy editing on these trips anyway. I might send it off to my editor or save it for when I get back to the studio and then do whatever I need. Having said that, you can totally do basic edits on this thing, even like a couple of 4K timelines and a few plugins. It will start struggling a bit if you want to get super fancy about your editing, lots of color grading, lots of plugins and all that. But for the basic stuff, this is perfect. And for me personally, it's all I need. Next up is my trusty iPad mini. This is still by far my favorite tablet because I consider this to be the last tablet, if you will. All the other tablets seem to be confused, like that. iPad Pro is in this perpetual state of identity crisis. Doesn't want to be a tablet, doesn't want to be a MacBook. Who knows? I don't understand the thing anymore. This is what I consider to be a tablet. It's so easy to hold. It does all the tablet-y stuff that I want it to do. And if I need anything more, I'll just reach for my MacBook Air. What makes this mini particularly useful on this trip is because on these European flights, even if you are willing and able to pay a little bit extra for those business class seats, you won't have a lot of space on your tray table. These are very small airplanes. They're packed and crammed. So this thing is ideal if you want to watch a video or something on the flight. You don't have a lot of space. All it takes is this much. You just put it on your tray table. You can even put some food there as well. It's absolutely perfect for that. If I would bring my iPad Pro, maybe with a Magic Keyboard, it would take up all the space. It's just too big. So for this trip, this is perfect. Also, really cool on the flight, and this is something I've been getting into a little bit more recently, is this retro gaming handheld device. This is the AYN Thor, or the AYN Thor. I don't know how to pronounce it. There's different schools of thought on that. This has been so much fun. I mean, I've been getting into handheld gaming a little bit. I've been comparing a few handhelds like the ROG Ally, the Steam Deck, even the PlayStation Portal. I do have a video on the channel if you're interested in that. You'll probably be surprised about what turned out to be my favorite, but that did send me a little bit down a rabbit hole into emulation, and it brought me to this thing, and I've been absolutely amazed by it because yes, it does all the emulation stuff. As you can see, it's kind of trying to mimic a Nintendo 3DS, and it's absolutely perfect to play those games. It works really well. Plus you can upscale them up to 4 times, so they look much better than they actually did on the 3DS. What these things really are very powerful androids in the body of a gaming device. And what that means is that you can install something like Game Hub that you can actually play quite a lot of games that you have in your Steam library. Now, obviously it won't be playing the very newest, most graphically demanding games, but it does play a lot. Like, I'll give you an example of my library here. I have Octopath Traveler, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Celeste, Skyrim, Dave the Diver. The Witcher 3 runs beautifully on this thing. BioShock, you name it. So all those good old games that still look amazing can be played on this thing as well. I will be doing a review on it soon. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, definitely hit subscribe. There will be more content coming. But so far, I absolutely love this thing. Also because you can just snap it shut and toss it in your bag. It doesn't even need a case. Thing is, this also has a beautiful sleep function. So you just turn it off like that, put it to sleep. Basically, it's not even really off. Put it in your bag, make your trip, get to the hotel, and maybe lost 1% of battery. It's absolutely fantastic. Now for the phones. This is a bit strange because I'm carrying not one, not two, but 3 phones. And no, I'm not always carrying 3 phones. This is quite an unusual situation. I do usually carry 2. I'll have one iPhone and usually I'll have one Android. This is just, you know, because I'm a tech reviewer and I need access to both systems. Currently, I am reviewing the Samsung S26 Ultra. I actually went to San Francisco last week with Samsung where they presented this device and we got a review unit to test out. I'm not sure what the official name is, but it's this purplish color. And so far, I really like this phone. There's not much new in terms of hardware. I mean, all these phones have plateaued a little bit. I mean, there's not much you can do in terms of hardware. You can't make them thinner. The thinnest phones of these brands already are limited by the thickness of the USB-C port. The cameras are already stellar on most of these devices, so you can only make them a little better every time. But what it does do is really good software improvements. And my favorite new feature on this thing has got to be the new privacy display. I did not think I was gonna like it as much as I do, but basically what it does is, you know those privacy screen protectors that you put on your phone and that prevents people from peeking on your phone from the side so you can only see it when you're looking straight at it? Well, this does the same thing, but it's software based. So you can turn it on and off on the phone. And the advantage of that is that you don't have to put a screen protector, so it doesn't dull your phone's screen. So everything looks bright and shiny and very good and clear and crisp, but the person next to you won't see anything. And the person in front of you won't see anything. But it's also modular. So let's say I want my whole screen to be visible, except the notifications. So I could be sharing my phone screen with someone, maybe showing them a video or whatever. Notification comes in, they won't be able to see that. It's absolutely brilliant. There is already a little hands-on video on my channel if you're interested in that. And there will be, of course, a full review in the next 2 weeks or so. So keep an eye out for that. The second or actually third phone I have with me is the Pixel 10a. Maybe not a phone that I would necessarily use myself. It is a little bit of a base model and it's a bit outdated, if I may say so. It has these really thick bezels and stuff. But I think there's a market for this phone because it is quite inexpensive comparatively. It does a lot of stuff, especially the camera is pretty cool. Not the camera hardware necessarily, but the software. For instance, it does this thing where it takes a bunch of photos in succession and then it auto picks the best one. So if one of the people in the photo, for instance, has their eyes closed, it'll just pick one of the photos where they don't have their eyes closed. So it's a really nifty feature. There's a bunch of other features as well. It actually works really well with Mac. So you can actually send files to the Mac as if it were AirDrop. It's basically flawless. So I'm pretty surprised about that. But yeah, other than that, this is a pretty basic phone. So if you're into flagships, this isn't going to be for you, but it's definitely a cool phone if you're looking for more like an entry-level phone. Anyway, review will be up sometime in the next weeks. Now, this thing is actually something I discovered not too long ago, a few trips ago, I would say, and it has been game-changing. I know that word has been used a lot, but it's actually a game changer. This is a tiny Wi-Fi 7 travel modem, and what that does is it gives me my own network. So if I'm lucky enough and I end up in a room where they have Ethernet, which is the best option, I plug it in here, it makes my own network and I can hook up all my devices, create my own Wi-Fi network basically very fast. Not every hotel room has Ethernet these days. This one, for instance, has an Ethernet port, but they're all deactivated. And you'll see that more often now that there's ports, but they're not really active. But that doesn't mean this is no longer useful. In that case, the advantage of these is this. If you have hotel Wi-Fi, usually you need to log into the Wi-Fi. And if you want to use multiple devices, you're going to have to log in multiple times. And if you're unlucky, you're going to have to do that repeatedly. With this device, you can log in just once, do the same process basically. It creates a network in your room and you can hook up all of your devices without having to log into anything, and it just works. Plus, because it's a Wi-Fi extender, oftentimes I end up with quicker Wi-Fi than I would have if I hooked up directly to the Wi-Fi here in the hotel. So this has been absolutely good. It's not that expensive, and I think it's definitely worth it if you do travel a lot. Oh, and the brand, it's GLINet, I think it is, but I'll obviously put links to everything you see in the description below the video. Guys, if you're looking for a perfect travel battery, check out the INIU Pocket Rocket P50. And it truly is a pocket rocket because this has got to be the smallest 10,000 milliamp hour power bank I've ever seen and used. It is built with what INIU calls Tiny Cell Protec, which means it packs a ton of juice in a package not much larger than my AirPods Pro. I love that the lanyard is actually an integrated 60-watt USB-C cable, which not only means you don't have to bring one, but it also means you can charge more than one device at a time. And I love that it has this little display telling you exactly how much juice is left. It's a safe battery as well, an industry first temp guard multi-tab battery cell to be exact, with better thermal control and therefore a larger lifespan. And if you're a Samsung user, you'll be pleased to know that this thing fully supports Samsung Super Fast Charging 2.0. Now get this, you can recharge this battery from 0 to completely full in just 25 minutes. So what can I say? Super fast, super safe, TSA compliant, so it's good for air travel, and INIU offers a 3-year warranty. Comes in a bunch of funky colors too, if that's your jam. And if you want to check out the Pocket Rocket P50 for yourself, there will be links in the description below the video. Now this next one you will have already seen a bunch of times in my videos if you are a channel regular, and that is of course my trusty DJI Pocket 3. This thing is so useful if you're a content creator because this works so well. The image quality on this thing is so good, but what makes this so perfect for travel is that it's basically a camera on a gimbal, or it's its own gimbal if you will. As you can see, the head is moving and it gives these really steady images, so I can film myself during my trips. I can put it down somewhere and have it track me because it's a DJI, so it does have all those awesome tracking features. It can follow me around the room. But the real advantage of this thing is that it is completely idiot proof. So if I would pack my full frame camera in my bag, which I used to do, it's cool, but then if I want to have somebody film something for me, they probably won't know what to do immediately because they are a little bit more complicated. This thing I can just hand to anyone. You just press record, point it in the right direction, and it does all the work for you. This is an absolutely cool camera, and I heard that a new one is on the horizon very soon, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, this one already out for probably 2-3 years, maybe even longer. It's been with me every single trip, and if you are a content creator or even for family videos, this one is my absolute favorite. Now, staying in the camera realm, we have the Ray-Ban Metas, which is also quite a nifty little trick if you are a solo creator like myself and you want to record stuff, but you don't always have your hands free. This is absolutely perfect for that. So let's say I want to have a little clip of me putting my luggage in my overhead compartment. This thing will film it perfectly. It's got that beautiful POV shot, you know. Actually, I can just start filming now, and I'll stitch that into the video so you can actually see me looking at my two cameras now. The only disadvantage of these, and I keep saying that, is that they only film in vertical. And I get it, it's a Meta product and these are made to make Meta videos, which is basically shorts. But if these could do horizontal videos and I could actually use them as is for my YouTube videos, I'd probably never take these things off. These are also the transition glasses, so if I go outside, they'll automatically turn into sunglasses, and then if I go back inside, they'll clear up again like you see now. I used to have the sunglasses version, but every time I wanted to use them to film inside, I felt a little bit like a douche. I mean, you don't want to be that guy, right? So these are actually perfect. The last video-centric one, I promise, and that is actually a very nerdy but very good solution to that POV problem, and that is this neck mount. You basically just hang it from your neck, as the name suggests, and then you magnetically attach your iPhone and it becomes this POV thing. This is perfect if I want to get some shots of me using my little handheld on the plane, or like I did in San Francisco when I'm testing the Samsung, I can actually film myself testing the device without having somebody filming over my shoulder. So it's a very clever solution in a very simple way. This is actually also very useful. It is a card reader and a card storage thing, I guess. It's got my CF Express A cards, my SD cards, my micro SD cards. It's got a SIM ejector tool, which also comes in handy often. It is also a card reader. So there's a little cable tucked away. I can put these types of cards in these slots here. and then just plug it into my computer and it can read it. And that's especially useful, or even necessary actually, for me because I'm not using a MacBook Pro, so I don't have all those ports. I have a MacBook Air which has only the 2 USB or Thunderbolt ports. So you're gonna need one of these, and this is actually really useful. This one is by PGY Tech. I've had it for a while. As you can see, it's really rugged, so you can toss it in your bag, not worry about it. I don't think they're waterproof, but they're basically everything else proof. And then lastly, we have my trusty old tech pouch, and this thing travels with me everywhere. And what's cool about these is that you can just leave everything in it, so that whenever you go on a trip, you just grab your little tech pouch. You've got all your chargers and all the stuff that you need for your travels. So here we have the usual suspects. Of course, we have the Apple AirPods Pro. These are still my favorite earbuds, simply because the noise cancellation is really good, because I am primarily an Apple user still. So if I put these in my ears, it will immediately communicate with whatever I'm using, whether it's my MacBook, my iPad mini, or my iPhone, and it will also switch seamlessly between them. But for the airplane, the noise canceling is just amazing. I mean, obviously an over-the-ear one is even better, but for these short flights, a flight to Barcelona from Belgium is not even 2 hours. These will do just fine. Not so small is this thing, and this is the TerraMaster D1 SSD Pro. It is an 80 gigabit per second SSD, and actually there's a reason why it's so big, because inside there's an NVMe SSD, and this thing is just one giant heatsink. As you can see, these SSDs can run pretty hot, and this thing is built to keep it cool basically. You can stick any NVMe memory in here that you want, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, maybe even 8 terabytes if you need that much storage. This thing can handle it. I've got a 4 terabyte in this one. I store all my video files on it. When I'm done filming at the end of the day, I just offload it on this thing, and I know it's going to be safe. I can edit straight off of this thing. No need to transfer it to the MacBook first. I have a very low storage model. I think it only has 256 gigs. So in terms of video files, it's not going to be storing a lot, maybe 1-2 video projects. This thing here can store easily 10 to 20 projects at once. So yeah, this is very good. There's different options too, but this is just one I'm currently testing, and so far it's been very good. I'll put links in the description. I'm using another Ugreen product, which is this 160 watt wall charger, I guess you call it. This is a European one, as you obviously can see. It has its advantages, the European plug, because it's very sturdy, so they will not come out of the wall. But the advantage of the US ones is that they have these retractable prongs, so you can just fold them in, and it makes it way more compact for your little bag. But this is what we got in Europe, so this is what it's gonna look like. It's very fast, it's very powerful, and because it's 160 watts, it can charge my MacBook, my tablet, my phone all at once at full speed. This is really great, and it's the only charger I take with me when I'm traveling. So I have one charger, one battery, covers all my needs. And lastly, I have these cables. They travel with me everywhere. A very small version that can actually hang from your keychain that I can take with me if I go out. And this one is a bit longer. I use that on my battery when I'm on the plane or whatever, and I don't need long cables, but just long enough, you know, to charge something and have it lay on my table. These are by a company called Rolling Square. I think they're called In Charge. Yes, that's what they're called. They're magnetic, so they're very neat and organized. But what makes them cool is that they have an extension for everything. This is a USB-A, we have a USB-C underneath, we have a Lightning, but because of the shape of the Lightning, it's shaped like a micro USB, so it also functions as a micro USB. So this is actually a dual function plug, which is, I think, very nifty. I've never seen that before. I've never seen other brands do it anyway. And then we have another USB-C. So what that means is you can charge USB-C to USB-C, USB-A to USB-C, USB-A to Lightning, and micro USB, all the USBs. So everything is there. You have this magnetic system, and then you have a little cap to keep everything protected from dust. Very cool cables, can definitely recommend, and they're super cheap. They're on Amazon. Again, links in the description. So guys, there you have it. All the crap I take with me when I travel. Looking at it, it's actually not that bad. It's been way worse, and I do actually use all of it when I'm traveling. So I would consider this still a pretty light setup. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.